What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi, and today is the 1st of May. Now, as of recording this, if you're watching this a day later, I can't do much for you. Now, aside from the fact that Outdoor Fornication begins today, also, we have a way on the 1st of the month, well, technically we have it every single day, but it resets on the 1st of the month, where we can transform all of our old 2- and 3-star units into fresh, brand new Iris. Now, normally I talk about this in a different method, but I'm going to talk specifically about Iris today because we have had so many new units in the game. In fact, we just got fresh CP with the collab units, which I sincerely hope you got because they're actually really good. We got fresh CP with that. We're going to get fresh CP coming up with the anniversaries and all that, so all this information actually will be useful going forward. We are at a state where we have had so many summons back-to-back. Number one, we're all really starved for Iris. We're really starved for Iris. Number two, you probably have a ton of 2- and 3-star units you've got no idea what to do with. Especially if you're new at the game and this is the first time you've seen this video. A lot of people have seen this video over and over and over and over again, but every video is somebody's first video. So let's go ahead and jump in today and talk about this. Now, the first answer is, and the most common answer people have, is when they talk about this, they talk about just coming in here and max limit breaking all their 2- and 3-star units. There's a good and a bad side to that. Now, the good side is, yes, for every 2- and 3-star unit that you max out, you are going to get 80 Iris. And that does add up fairly quickly. But you are talking about a major resource cost. It's going to cost you some Fauna. It's going to cost you some Exilia books. You know, the way that I'm going to do it, number one, could produce more Iris, and we've seen that in the past. Obviously, that's dependent on how far you are into the game, as you'll see in a moment. Number two, I don't like spending all that Fauna and Exilia. I find that it's probably better to hold off on a lot of that for much later down the pike. Plus, the other thing to consider, like, if you see some of my units up here that are, like, level 80, that was a massive, massive, massive mistake. Now, in the event that you do decide to max out some of these units, I will warn you right now, do not max these units past, like, the base level at +5, which I believe is, like, what, level 56, I believe. I could be wrong in the order. So we got Dionysus here, and I actually do have one bond to him. So let's go ahead and limit break him, get that 10 Iris, and talk about this. Okay? So got the final limit break on him, and he drops with level 76, like I said. Okay. So now I'm not going to put any more Fauna in him. I'm not going to put any more Exilia in him. Now, the nice part about this is if I ever do need to go do updates, because remember, in our guild updates every single day, you have one down here that says, do a status board or a level. Now, if you get all of your units to level 80, you have no expansion there. You literally can't get your daily 10 Iris because you don't have anybody that you can go in and do that upgrade to. We call that EOL, end of life. And, you know, when you EOL a game, you really just kind of lose those kinds of benefits. However, since Dionysus is here and he is now leveled, I can actually go in here and I could either expend one of these. I probably wouldn't do that. I'm not going to spend one of those because, like, if you click on it here, it'll say it's going to cost me only 10 large Fauna. That's not too bad. And it doesn't cost you Hero Fauna like it does on the much bigger units. But, you know, there's an Iris cost I don't really want to, or I'm sorry, Valus cost I don't really want to accommodate for and all that. Plus, I want to keep my Fauna, even though I've got 3,700 of those. I want to keep my Fauna for the new incoming units. So instead, I can go in here and I can just do one little tiny small book. And that gives me a ton of room for expansion. Now, if you were level 80, I couldn't do that. But being level 76, I do have the capability to do that. And as you'll see, I've got quite a few 2- and 3-stars that we can actually still play with. So I'm not really too worried about that on my end. But for me, so if I go actually over here to guild, you'll see that by doing that limit break, it'll say I've now limit broken 1,256 times. Look at that. And I'll actually grab 10 Iris for it. So I'll now be up to 1928. You know, so there is that benefit. I don't want to, like, negate that. Everyone gets really mad at me every time I make this video saying that I negate that. But honestly and truthfully, I feel like the other method I'm going to show you today is so much more effective. Number one, it doesn't incur any cost on your books or your Fauna. Number two, and this is really the most important to me, you could potentially I will say, incur so much more fauna for your like time and energy, really. So let's go talk about that. Now, first things first, if we go to the little gear icon up at top, a little settings icon, I guess you could call it, and go to inventory, if you click on bond here, this will list out all the 2 and 3 star bonds we currently have on us in the game. You'll notice that for Oka right there, I've got 9 of his bonds. Clearly, I'm not going to use all of those. Some of these units I've maxed, some of these units I haven't. See, I've got for Demeter there, I've got 9. And those are all the 2 stars. If I go down here to the 3 stars, I'm sure it's even better. Look at that. Tons of 3 stars. Tons and tons and tons of 3 stars. So the easy and quick way to do this, if you go over there above the 2-star bell and you click sell multiple items, you can actually even select your 4 stars up here, but I'll get to that in a moment. There's basically a couple of different ways to do this. You can sell just the 2 stars, just the 3 stars. You can sell surplus, which is literally just going to sell all of the bonds you're not going to use. Let's in fact click that and see what we get. So now that's going to give me 596 Sieros. Now, Sieros are these kind of white-looking gems. They're very useful, and I'll show you what they're used for here in a moment. But you'll get, quite a few here probably. You can spend all these, and you can go in here and get your Sieros. And the goal here is to upgrade the Sieros. On the first of every month, the shops do reset. What do I mean by the shops? If we go out here, we go down here to shop. Oops, that's not shop, that's the summon page. Go to Sieros and Dulb exchange. All right. And you'll see down here, I always recommend getting the 2 and 3 star tickets. Those are really good right out of the gate because those can actually turn into the 4 stars. But for this video, I'm actually going to show you a little different method. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to buy up all the Aurario souvenirs before I do anything else. Reason I'm going to do that, the Aurario souvenirs, now notice I've already got 582 of them. That's really good. So actually, I'm probably not going to buy those instead. But you could buy up to 99 of these each time, and the souvenirs are actually really good for all of the collab units in the game. Collab units will use the Aurario souvenirs. The other units in the game are either going to use the Dungeon Sandwich, Book of Knowledge, or the Single Flower. Now, there is a big item as well. Big Bouquet, Book of Nobility, and Dungeon Cake. Each one of those basically is double what the smaller item is. So Dungeon Cake is double of what a Dungeon Sandwich is. Book of Nobility is double what a Book of Knowledge is. Big Bouquet is double what a Single Flower is, which doesn't make sense because it's a dozen of them, but whatever. The cost is literally double. You just get more flowers for it. So my recommendation typically, if you really want to spec into this properly, Dungeon Sandwich and the Single Flower / Bouquet and Cake, those really affect the most units. Book of Knowledge and Book of Nobility affect a certain number of units. So to determine what you need, you actually use a different screen. But first, let's go back in here, because what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go back into inventory and I'm going to go back to bond. Because what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something that everybody got like completely ticked off last time I did this. But you know what? It's my call. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell all of my bonds. Now, the interesting thing to note here, if I click 4-star, it's actually going to go back to surplus. It will not let me accidentally sell all of my 4-star bonds. So if I unclick 4-star, I can actually go back here to sell all. I can't do sell all with 4 stars. So it's really good, because otherwise you could inadvertently just expunge all your 4 stars, and then you'd be like, because I have a bunch of them on hold. So that is one good way that you can accrue a bunch here. So now instead of having 590, I'm now up to 1479. Actually, that means that I could just about, and I do emphasize just about, buy up all of the small items. So if we go back here into the Sieros Dulb exchange, so the small items, there's 49 of each. So Dungeon Sandwich, 99 of each. There's 99 of each, but they only cost 5 Sieros. Whereas the large item, the Dungeon Cake, there's 99 of those, and they cost 10. So really, if you're going to get 99 of those, it's going to cost you 1,000. If If you're getting 99 into these, it's going to cost you, well, not quite 1,000. It's going to cost you, what? Math hard. 999. Whereas with this one, it's going to cost you 495. Either way, you can just approximate. One's about 1,000, one's about 500. You know, minus 5 or 10 or so. So, just approximating. So I could literally go in here, buy all my small bouquets. It's actually would be really good for me because I'm low on, those are the big bouquets. Never mind. Single flowers, I have almost 1,000 of them. Wow. So I'm low on books. And Dungeon Sandwiches, I only have 475. And Dungeon Sandwiches, you're going to use a ton of. But before I go buy those, I'm going to one more time go back to the bond, and I want to talk about 4 stars for a moment. Now, you'll see that there's like that white gem up there, Sieros. You'll also see a black gem called Dulb. And Dulb is really, really interesting because with Dulb, that you only get from selling 4-star bonds. Now, why would you want to sell a 4-star bond? Well, first of all, not all these units are completely worthwhile. There are quite a few units in my list here that I really don't care about. I'm never going to use. This, honestly, this Lily being one of them. At one point in time, she was pretty good. So, actually, to show you, if you press and hold on them, it'll bring up their stats and everything over here, and you can actually go look. So, in her case, she has high thunder physical attack with temporary strength boost attack type, single target plus 15%. So I couldn't even sack her. She's not even good for that these days. Single target, high thunder physical attack with temporary strength boost, allies thunder attack damage plus 20%. We got way better than that in this point in the game. And a low thunder physical attack, self strength, 80%. Doesn't even give herself thunder damage. And so while she might be useful at some point in time, right now I really just don't have the interest. And it's not like she's time limited. You know, she's not very special, so I would really have no problem selling this bond. So let's go ahead and select that, and you will notice that I get about 50, in fact, right at 50 Sieros and 10 Dulb. Now, let's go ahead and sell her, and let's talk about that, because you could actually go up here, and I don't think I have any surplus 4 stars. Let's find out, though. So, got 4 stars selected, got surplus selected. No, okay. So I have no surpluses at the moment. But I've got a few units in here that I actually, like the Azure Goddess. I really am never going to, because what she does, I'm never going to utilize this unit. So once again, that's another unit that I could sell without any hassle or question. Now remember, I could max limit break those units and I would get, you know, the 10 Irish. So that would have been 20 Irish right there. But I'm going to show you, first of all, where I feel like I can get more Iris than that for what I'm about to do. But also, with the Dulb that you sell, if we go back into the shop one more time, if I accrue, now 50 Dulb, I can get a 4-star ticket. I don't think that's worthwhile anymore, only because we have so many 4 stars in the game, and not all of them are useful. In fact, quite a few of them, as you've seen here, are units that, like, I really don't care about anymore. Like, maybe at one point in time, like, that Lily was really good at one point in the game. Now she's just kind of, like, why would I use her? Why would I keep her around? She would be dragging any modern team down. She really needs either a rebalance or something to keep her up to date. So instead, I could just, you know, blast the unit. She's gone. So I could sell up to 5, and I could get a 4-star ticket. But for me, I like these Prism Bonds. A Prism Bond is a free limit break on any non-time limited unit. So like any base unit in the game. Now we'll show you what you can do with time limited units here in a moment. It's really a separate discussion, but I'll just cover it here real quickly in a moment. But for any non-time limited unit, you get 1 for an adventure, 1 for an assist. The adventure is 10 Dulb, the assist is 15. So a lot of times when you see like I'm holding on to a bunch of 4-star units, that's generally the reason. Because if I've got like an assist that I'm just not pulling, especially considering, let's go to the current gacha. I really want this adventurer Hestia, but she does not seem to be dropping for me. So what I could do is I could actually go grab, because she's not time limited. If we go into the gacha details, it would tell you if she's time limited. She is not time limited here. So I could technically grab a Prism Bond and throw it on her. Now, just to touch on it for you guys that are asking, because we did mention it is here in the shops. If you want to do the same thing for a time-limited unit, go to Gnome Ticket Exchange, and by collecting Gnome tickets, you can actually do the same thing. Star Bonds are for time-limited units, but that's really, like I said, a discussion for another day. Now, why do I say you can get more Iris, potentially, not always, but potentially, than just limit breaking 2 and 3 star units? Okay? Once again, I want to emphasize, this is especially important, I feel like, right now, because we are so like starved for Iris, especially free-to-play Iris. We've gotten, banners back to back to back to back, and we're going in the state of reruns, and I really feel like right now is a great time to, I love the new banners, but I think we're going to just get nothing but reruns until the anniversary from this point on. I hope, please, Right Flyer, have some mercy on us. So you really want to start saving. You really want to do this month and next month to try to accrue some extremely good free-to-play Iris. Here we go. Character list. Character list is the screen that you're going to utilize to acquire all of this Iris. So if we go down here to the bottom, what I'm looking for are units that are low level. I think I left some. Nope, all those are level 15. I think somewhere on one of these pages I have left a few that are really low level. Fingers crossed. Nope, maybe I haven't. Maybe I got greedy. I probably got greedy. Now, it's really important to notice that I do have 3 different lists. Both the Bell, Eyes, and Leafia units have their own lists. Nope, I got greedy. I upgraded them all. That stinks. Whatever. So if you've got units down here that are in the really single digits especially, you can get a ton of Iris extremely quickly out of here. How do I mean that? If you go to CP reward list and we scroll all the way down to the bottom. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, did they reverse it? Oh, no, starts at the top. Oh, they did reverse it. Oh, thank you. That's so... It used to be the other way around. Anyway. So, level 2, I get 10 agility, but level 3, I get 5 Iris. Every even is going to give you an update. Every odd is going to give you Iris. So there's 10 Iris at level 5, 15 at level 7, 20 at level 9, 25 at level 11, then 30, and then at level 16, it's then... At level 16, it's then going to go in here and it's going to start giving you 10. So really, if you really like adding this up, so if you can get every unit to level 16, you can acquire 40 Iris fairly quickly. It's not going to take much time at all. So really, to do that, I wish I had a bunch of units that were level 1 that I could really show you how much this is going to accrue, but I don't. But I've got a bunch of units here at level 15, so let's just see real quick how quickly I can get all these level 15s up to level 16. So Reveria, this is the Kid Reveria, the one we got for the kid units that we got a couple months ago. These were all fresh CP, so you were able to get all new CP with them. As you can see, I haven't even bonded mine out. I've got them just sitting on the bonds of her. I really wound up not using much of her. So if I go to offer present, she wants Books of Knowledge. Now, most units are, like I said, are going to want Dungeon Sandwiches or Single Flowers, as you'll find. But Books of Knowledge will give her 200 CP. So, what does that mean? Well, you see this little bar right here. This is basically the amount of CP she has. If I go here to CP Rewards once again, it'll say up at the top, total CP is 5,800. She needs 104 to get to the next level. That's easy enough. Go to offer present, give her Books of Knowledge, and just one of them. Bam. We are now at level 16. Just got me 10 more Iris. All right. Now, if we go to Eyes Girl, Eyes, offer present. She wants Dungeon Sandwiches. Let's see what she needs. Go to offer present. She needs 304. Now, I could give her 2 Dungeon Sandwiches, but remember what I said earlier. Dungeon Cakes are basically double, so I can give her 1 Dungeon Cake, and that's going to get the job done. Bam. 10 more Iris. So notice that if I bonded Riveria out, I actually would have another 20 Iris from bonding her, and I'm actually going to probably go do that here shortly. I'm trying to make the decision on whether I'm actually going to use her going forward, because she's not Max Limit Broken, but she is time limited, so I've really got to make some hard decisions there. But neither here nor there. I just got 10 Iris from that. I got 20 Iris here just in the last couple of minutes, really for nothing. Like, for what cost me probably the equivalent of, what, a 2-star bond, if that? So really, like, that 2-star bond that I could have thrown into another unit, gotten 10 Iris, I got 20 here already. So let's go ahead and get Bell. Now, Bell's going to require quite a bit more. 563, so this is going to require a little bit of maths. He wants Books of Knowledge too. Books of Nobility, I've only got 20 of those, so I'm going to go ahead and give him 3 Books of Knowledge. Boom, 30 Iris. Okay. Hestia. Hestia is going to require, let's see, 704. And she wants single flowers, so now I could use big bouquets. So 2 of those are going to take her up to 800. Boom, 40 Iris. So really quickly, we can acquire quite a bit of Iris. Now we're into actually the collab units. So for LaFolia, for present, she's going to want, like I said, Aurario souvenirs. All of the crossover units are going to want Aurario souvenirs. So let's see. She needs to get up to 6,000. We knew that because the math from the other ones. So let's go ahead and just hit this button until she's up to 6,000. Bam. Perfect. It's actually a little less than 6,000, but, you know, I'm not going to split hairs on that. Kojo, same thing. Unfortunately, there is no big item for the crossover units, but they gave us an absolute ton, and I do mean a ton, of Aurario souvenirs during the event, so I'm really not arguing right now. Like, they've basically shown their worth, and they rightfully are really paid out. Okay, so let's see. Bet is going to need dungeon sandwiches. I've only got a few dungeon cakes. Let's give him sandwiches, and let's get him up to level 6,000 again. Boom! I've lost track of how much Iris I've now accrued. And Sayaka, Aurora souvenirs, and bam! Alright, so 10 Iris. So let's go back out here. I have acquired, let's see, I started off with, I think I just acquired, 100 Iris, give or take? Yeah, a little, maybe like 80 Iris. So I acquired the equivalent Iris, yeah, because I was at 19, yeah, so 28, so now we're at 2018. So I acquired 90 Iris. So 90 Iris, more Iris in those few moments than I would have acquired even Max Limit Breaking with all my resources, a 2 or 3 star unit. Now, whether this is worthwhile for you or not may or may not make sense, because if all your units are way up here in like the 30s and 40s, like I've upgraded quite a few of these units. Like for Krazo, if I was to get him up to level 36, he's going to require almost 2,000 CP if you look up here. So if your units are low level, this is worthwhile. But if your units are super high level, might not be so worthwhile. You really got to weigh the options in your regard. But really, this is more catered to new players anyway. So this is a way you can upgrade units like crazy. And as you upgrade, as you can see, each of those units gets major upgrades. And yes, all of those upgrades do stack. So the Leafia lists will stack onto the Bell list, will stack onto the Eyes list, and your numbers will just go crazy. An example of that, Haruhime is my most upgraded unit. If we go down here into the album, and let's just make life easy, go grab Haruhime here. So the Fire Haruhime, who I do have completely bonded out, max ascended and everything, HP is 3440, magic attack is 1647, although it doesn't really matter, she's more of really a support anyway, but let's just kind of compare those numbers. And agility and dex are right about, 850-ish range. Let's go take a look at what she is up here. Okay, let's go back here. Boom, boom, and where's she at? There she is. Look at those stats in comparison. Pretty big difference. Pretty massive difference. Look at that magic attack. Granted, that's Probably with the equipment. No, that wouldn't be with the equipment. So 2200 magic attack from where we were. So, yeah. Does the CP add up? Heck yes, it does. Absolutely it does. All of your eyes list, your bell list, and your Leafia list will compound. So not only are you getting free-to-play Iris, you're also upgrading units. But there's one other catch here. So every 5th unit that you limit break at a certain level, so like I limit broke over 5 units here at CP level 16, for every 5th unit you upgrade to a CP level, you are going to get some Iris. So not only did I get 90 Iris in there, I just got 100 Iris, 110 Iris. So if you get, like I said, every 5th unit that's up to a certain level, you're going to get 10 more Iris here in the guild rewards. This pays out massively, guys. It is foolish not to take advantage of this. Pretty much that's the video, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Like, comment, and share. I'll be back with y'all with more Danmachi really soon.